breath.
Okay, so good morning, class, and welcome to the session. Okay. So how many people have joined? 16. Okay, let's wait for a minute and then we'll start. In meantime, if you have any questions, any doubt from last session, please ask. Okay, so let's get started. Those who have joined online, guys, any questions? Those who have joined online, guys, can they confirm if I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I'm getting one question. Siddharth is asking question. ARMA, ARIMA, difference why P and Q are not equal to 0. Okay, so Siddharth, see, basically what I said yesterday, I said if you are building ARMA model, then ARMA model is denoted by your P comma Q, where P is mapped to your AR and MA is mapped to your Q. So what does this P indicates? P indicates how many guys, tell me? How many past or previous
Time periods.
actual terms? Because P and Q दोनों ही past की चीजें हैं, so you need to mention actual terms, and Q is how many previous error terms. Yeah, that's the right answer, error term. I never said that P cannot be equal to 0. P can be 0, cannot be 0, may or may not be 0. I never said that it cannot be 0. And same thing is holds true for your Q. Q, it can be 0, it may not be 0, right? Not be 0. But if you are using, if P is equal to 0, then ARMA would be written as 0, comma, and let me say P is equal to 0 and Q is equal to 2, then it would be written as ARMA 0, comma 2, which is nothing but MA2. Which is nothing but MA2. Agar AR hai hi nahi, to MA hoga. And similarly, let's say if ARMA 3, 0, then this is equal to AR3 process. Okay, so I never said that P and Q cannot be 0. They can be 0, or they may not be 0. Okay. Similarly, what I said was ARIMA. In ARIMA, it is denoted as P, D, Q, where P is again mapped to your AR, I is mapped to your D, and MA part is mapped to your Q. Okay. So if D is equal to 0 and P is non-zero and Q is non-zero, then ARIMA is nothing but ARMA. Okay. Same thing. Right. Siddharth, is your doubt clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so we have seen how to find the value of D. What does D indicates?
Differencing.
Differencing. So why do we do differencing? To make the series
Stationary.
stationary. Yes, absolutely right answer. And what is stationarity or stationary?
Mean and variance is
Mean and variance are invariant to time.
Yes, so mean and variance are time invariant. Mean and variance, they do not change with time. Okay. Do not change with time. Okay. So basically we know how to find the value of D, and D is mapped to your I. Okay. But how to find the value of P and Q? Okay. P and Q की वैल्यू कैसे निकालनी है, ये चीज अभी हमने डिस्कस नहीं करी. We are going to discuss right now. Now the question is how to find value of P and Q. How to find the value of P and Q, where P is mapped to your previous actual term and Q is mapped to your previous error term. How to find the value of Q, P and Q? The answer to this question is, in one word, if I say, the answer is using your ACF and PACF, where ACF stands for your autocorrelation function. Autocorrelation function. And PACF is just an extension of ACF, that is your partial autocorrelation function. Partial autocorrelation function. So how do you find the value of P and Q? Using your ACF and PACF. Using your ACF and PACF. Now, let me say I have a data. You have a data of sales. Sales for month of Jan, month of Feb, month of March, month of April, May, whatever. So let's say sales was some 500 units. Then it was 510 unit, 540 unit, 530 unit, 560 unit, whatever. Right? So and similarly, you have data for many more months. So can I find the mean? क्या मैं mean निकाल सकता हूँ? Answer is yes, I can find. Yes, can I find the median? Can I find the maximum? Can I find the minimum? Can I find the standard deviation? Can I find the variance? Can I find the 25th percentile? Can I find the 75th percentile? So इन सबको टिक लगा देता हूँ. Can I find the correlation? Can I find the correlation? क्या मैं correlation निकाल सकता हूँ? कैसे? If yes, then कैसे? Yes, so you cannot find the correlation because for finding the correlation, you need to have two variables. Okay. So for example, you can find everything for mean, median, maximum, minimum, but you cannot find correlation because correlation you can find only when you have two variables. So for example, let's say quantity sold versus price. Now you can find the correlation between quantity sold and price. Till the time you have just one variable, you cannot find the correlation. Correlation means दोनों के बीच का relation. जब दो वेरिएबल आएंगे तभी तो रिलेशन आएगा. Over here you just have sales. You have only one series. You have only one series. So how can you find the correlation? Can you find the correlation? Answer is no. But I am saying that I would be using autocorrelation or partial autocorrelation to find the value of P and Q. जब सीरीज एक ही है तो कोरिलेशन कहां से आएगा? इतना समझ में आता है सबको? सीरीज तो एक ही है, यूनिवेरिएट टाइम सीरीज है. हाउ वुड यू फाइंड द कोरिलेशन? तो क्या मैंने गलत बोल दिया? कोरिलेशन कहां से आएगा? कोरिलेशन आएगा. कैसे आएगा? Correlation will come from lag of the series. Correlation will come from the lag. अब ये lag क्या होता है? What is a lag? Guys, what is the English meaning of lag?
सर पीछे रह जाना मतलब कि थोड़ा लैग सबसे पीछे।
अड़कना।
थोड़ा पीछे रह जाना। और किसी ने कुछ और भी बोला? डिले।
When the
Hang up
FPS
होना।
lags in a video game.
Pardon? Video game?
FPS lags in a video game.
Okay, PS lags in a video game. Okay. ठीक है. So basically, so lag means you are looking little bit back. थोड़ा पीछे देखना. Look behind or look back. Now, not only the English meaning of lag, but do you notice everywhere there is a lag. Everywhere there is a lag. So for example, let me say, suppose करो अभी रेनी सीजन ऑलमोस्ट जाने वाला है, बट सपोज करो ये एक माउंटेन है पुणे में, तो खैर देयर आर 4 to 5 डैम्स आर देयर, एंड देन it rains on these mountains, and whatever rain, it slowly flows to a reservoir, or let me say a dam. ठीक है ना? पहाड़ों पे जो पानी बरसा है वो धीरे धीरे डैम में चला जाता है, करेक्ट? एंड पूरे साल हमें पानी वहां से मिलता है. नाउ टेल मी वन थिंग, when it rains on the mountain, so let's say it starts raining right now, will the water in the dam will start increasing right now? So suppose let's say today is 4th September and it rains today on the mountain. It rains on the mountain and then water will slowly flow to the dam. Now, if you want to do the analysis, how much water will be coming to the dam, or how much water, how many, or let me say how many gallons of water will flow to dam today? How many gallons of water will flow to dam today? Then what do you need to do? You need to look at the rainfall. You need to look at the rainfall which happened today. आज जो बारिश हो रही है उसका पानी थोड़ा जाएगा. But you also need to look how much it rained yesterday. Because whatever it rained yesterday, it might have taken 24 hours, 48 hours to slowly reach the water to the dam. So it means, and you may also look day before yesterday and little bit, let's say 3 days before. So if you want to do the analysis, how much water will be coming on the 5th September, you need to look at 5th September. You need to look at 4th September, 3rd September, and probably let's say 2nd September. And whatever it rained on 1st September or 31st August, that water has already reached. But now do you notice, whatever is happening on 5th September in the dam, it does not have connection only with the 5th September, but it also has a lag. एक 3 दिन या 4 दिन का lag आता हुआ दिखता है. So whatever is happening today, there is some lag. Some event happened 2 days, 3 days back, and now you are seeing a lag. तुम्हारे बॉडी में एक वायरस एंटर करता है. Do you fall sick immediately? The moment it enters? Probably no. So this virus, the day the virus enters, and the day you see the symptom, there might be a lag of, let's say, some 3 to 4 days. Leaving कि तुमने cyanide poisoning नहीं ले लिया, immediate lag would not be there. But if a virus enter or any bacteria enter, so you take any event, you would always notice a lag. So if you want to do the analysis that what is going to happen today, you need to look back into the past. 1 day, 2 day, 1 month, 2 month. ओके तुम लोग पढ़ाई आज कर रहे हो तो क्या नौकरी आज मिलने वाली है? नहीं. The day you get job and the day you are studying, there may be a lag of 3 months, 4 months, 2 months, whatever. ठीक है. So there would always be a lag. So basically, how much sales is going to happen in December month? It has something to do with your November month, little less to do with your October month, little more less to do with your September month, but it has something to do with the future. Sorry, it has something to do with the past. Okay? Because whenever anything happens, whenever one event happens, it causes another event. But there might be a time period between those two events. Suppose karo government ne, let's say RBI increases the interest rate. Will the inflation come down on the very same day? क्या inflation उसी दिन कम हो जाएगा? नहीं, उसका lag होगा. So interest rates are reduced today. It may take 3 months before you start seeing the impact of the interest rate. So there may be a lag. There may be a lag of 3 months, 2 months, whatever. So that is what is known as your lag. So how much time interval do you need to look back? Now, before I put any numbers, let's suppose you have your own store. You have your own shopping store or general store, whatever. Now you want to do the analysis. How many people will visit your store today? आज के दिन तुम्हारे स्टोर में कितने लोग आएंगे? How many people will visit your store today? So probably you may look at the data what has happened yesterday. कल कितने लोग आए थे तुम देखना चाहोगे? If you have to answer this question, then what would be the first thing which you would like to see? How many people came to your store yesterday? And then probably you may see how many people came day before yesterday or 2 days before, 3 days before, or 4 days, 5 days. You may take out a mean, you may find some pattern, but how many people will visit your store today? How many people will visit your store today? You don't need to look at the data which is 6 months old. 6 महीने पहले कितने लोग आए थे वो देखने की तो जरूरत नहीं, right? So you need to look into some past interval, but somewhere you need to stop also. Somewhere you need to stop also. So what I can do is I can find the correlation between today and yesterday, today and day before yesterday, today and day before yesterday. And wherever I see that correlation has gone down to 0, I can just stop. I can just stop. Okay. And that is what we are going to do in your ACF and EACF. Thank you. Just give me a second and let me open up Excel sheet for you guys. Excel sheet दिखती है, though it's blank as of now. दिखती है? Okay, so I have written few numbers. So consider this is this data which I'm marking in slide green, consider this is your original data. This is your original series, the given series. This is my original series. This is your original series. Okay, now, how do we get the lag? So basically in lag, what do you do? In lag, basically you will compare the today's sale with yesterday's sale and yesterday's sale with day before yesterday's sale. Now, what I'll do is, अब numbers को ध्यान से देखना guys. 112, 118, 132, 129, 121, 135. Yes, so people have understood. 148, 148, 136, 119, 119. So good one, guys. 104 and 118. Now, do you notice? So let me say this was your day 1, this was your day 2, this was your day 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 and 24. Let me just do 1 second. Okay. So day 13. Now, do you notice? If you notice these two numbers which I am marking in yellow, so what I've done, I have written 112 in front of 118. So basically, I am saying what is the relation between this 112 and 118 and 112. See, what is day 2? Day 2 is nothing but sales on your day 2 or time period 2. Suppose करो इसको कुछ ऐसे देखो. Suppose करो that today, if 500 customers come to your shop, then tomorrow the number of customers which are coming to your shop will have something to do with your 500. So if today 500 customers are coming to your shop and nothing unusual happens, अगर कोई celebrity तुम्हारे shop पे visit नहीं करता है, then most probably the number of visitors would be around 500, little bit more or little bit less. So whatever is going to happen tomorrow is dependent upon what has happened yesterday. ठीक है ना? What has happened yesterday. ठीक है? Now, and that is why I am writing 112 in front of 118. I hope people remember correlation, guys. Correlation याद है सबको? Price and let me say quantity sold. So if I say 100 and quantity sold is 30, if I say then 120, then quantity sold is, let's say, 28. When it is 130, let me say quantity sold is 25, whatever. So do you notice what does this 130 means? It means when price is 100, then quantity sold is 30. So same thing. 118 people are coming on day 2 because 112 came on your day 1. ये इसका meaning हुआ. आ रही बात समझ सबको? ठीक है? 132 people came on day 3. Why? Because 118 came on day 2. So I'm building a correlation. So now this is known as your lag 1. This is known as your lag 1 series. Now what about lag 2 series? Lag 2 series, I hope people have guessed it right. मैं सिर्फ उसको एक नंबर नीचे डालने वाला हूँ. So what I'll do is I'll copy this thing और इसको यहाँ पर डाल दूंगा. Can you notice? So now if I take these two numbers, जिनको मैं yellow में mark कर रहा हूँ, 132 people came on day 3 because 112 came on your day 1. 2 दिन पीछे का देख के मैं आंसर करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. Okay. Similarly, I can create a lag 3, and again you can guess it right. What I'll do is I'll just copy this part and put it over here. This is your lag 3. So now if I take this number 129 and 112. So 129 people came on day 4. Why? Because 112 came on your day 1. 3 दिन पहले का डेटा देख के मैं बता रहा हूँ. And same thing probably can just continue. You can say lag 4. Okay. अच्छा, इसको कुछ ऐसा भी याद कर सकते हो. So the example which I have just taken. So for example, the amount of water entering the dam today, it has something to do with how much it rained today, how much it rained yesterday and 2 days back. But maybe whatever it rained 1 week back, it has nothing to do with amount of water entering the dam today, right? Now, let's find the correlation. So for finding the correlation, what I'll do, I'll use CORREL and I'll pass this series, comma, I'll pass this series. This is the correlation between your lag 1 and, between your original and the lag 1. You are just seeing the previous time interval to predict the current time interval. अब याद आ रहा है P, why are we doing all this thing? To find the value of P and Q. कितना previous time interval हम देखें. Now, everyone please focus on this cell, जिसको मैं yellow में mark कर रहा हूं. As of now, what is the value in this cell? इस cell में क्या value है अभी?
None.
It is empty?
Yes.
It is empty, and notice the value in the below cell. It is 0.622. And now I am putting 0. अभी value कितनी थी? 0.622. Now it has gone to 0.494. Again, I am removing the 0. And the value changes. I put back the 0 and the value. So remember, I had said that I would be using ACF and PACF. So there is a very slight difference between ACF and PACF. If you put 0 and if you don't put 0. So one is your ACF, another is your PACF. One is your auto correlation, another is your partial auto correlation. Okay. So अगर 0 लगाया और 0 नहीं लगाया, ठीक है ना? So 0.62, and let me say correlation between my original and lag 2. 0.04. Now guys, do you notice the correlation between my original and lag 2? What is the range of correlation? -1 to +1. किसी ने 0 to 1 भी बोला है मनी मन? ठीक है, जिसने 0 to 1 बोला है गलत बोला है. ठीक है, -1 to +1. -1 to +1. ठीक है. The correlation is between your -1 to +1. If the value is towards -1, then also it means it is a high correlation. Negative है लेकिन high तो है ही है. When it is towards +1, then also it is a high correlation. But do you notice the correlation over here? अरे क्या हो गया बाबा? ठीक है. But correlation over here in the second lag, it has almost gone down to 0. It has gone down to 0. 0.04 is nothing but very close to your 0. So if correlation is around 0, it means there is no correlation. Correlation nahi hai. So in this example, when you want to predict what is going to happen today, you only need to look at the yesterday's data, because 2 दिन पुराना data जब तुम देखते हो तो correlation has almost died down. Correlation खत्म हो गई है. So I can find the value of P and Q using this ACF and PACF. When correlation ही नहीं है तो पीछे देखने का मतलब ही क्या, right? So that's the same concept we are using. Okay. Now let's put some diagrams. These diagrams, probably if you remember, it will make your life easy. अभी क्या दिख रहा है? एक्सेल शीट दिख रहा है या प्रिंट विंडो दिख रहा है? एक्सेल शीट दिख रहा है? अच्छा ठीक है, तो पेंट विंडो देखो. Now take a screenshot of this thing. Everyone is joined the system. Now guys, let me put a boundary wall between them. Okay, so we will plot these type of diagram. Coding जब करेंगे तो plotting these diagrams would be very easy. So let's discuss about this diagram. इतने part को discuss करते हैं. Can you notice I have written ACF? ACF is your autocorrelation function. Now the diagram is something like this. This is 0, this is +1, and this is your -1. This is your -1, +1 and -1. Now, see, and this is your lag 1. This is your L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. Okay, and similarly it continues. Now, and this, do you notice this dotted blue line? This indicates your 0.05, or you can say +0.05, and this downwards indicates your -0.05. It indicates your -0.05. Now, in this diagram, do you notice that correlation cannot be greater than 1 and cannot be less than -1? Do you notice that correlation is decreasing very slowly? It is doing a gradual decrease. It is doing a gradual decrease. Guys, imagine something like this. Let me say correlation between original and lag 1 is 0.9, and then original and lag 2 is 0.7, then original and lag 3 is 0.67, original and lag 4 is 0.61, original and lag 5 is 0.59, and slowly it is decreasing. Compare this scenario with this scenario. Original and lag 1 is 0.9. Original and lag 2 is 0.7. Original and lag 3 is 0.04. And original and lag 4 is 0.042 or whatever. Original and lag 5 is 0.003. So compare the scenario A with scenario B. In scenario A, do you notice it is very difficult to take a cutoff ki kahan pe jaake ruk jaye, because values are slowly decreasing. You cannot make a decision. You cannot make a decision that where to predict what is going to happen today. I should look only at the first 2 terms or first 3 terms or first 4 terms, because values are slowly decreasing. So you cannot make a decision. But in scenario B, do you notice after lag 2, these values have suddenly become 0. So I can just stop at lag 2. I can see lag 1 and lag 2 to predict my future. But in scenario A, you cannot make any decision because values are decreasing, but they are decreasing very slowly. Kahan pe jaake ruke? So if you are saying I should stop at lag 4, then I can ask a question, why not at lag 5? दोनों में थोड़ा ही तो डिफरेंस है. Or why not at lag 3? Or why not at lag 2? Or why not you go at further at lag 6? Let me say the value is 0.55. So do you notice one thing? When the values are gradually decreasing, you do not get any information from it. Acha, K-means का graph याद आ रहा है? Wherever the values decrease suddenly and then they stop, right? So if that happens, then you can make a decision. Otherwise, decision making is very tough. Kahan pe ruke? So in this diagram, This graph is of no use. ACF से मेरे को कोई meaning पता नहीं चलता. I get the meaning only from my PACF. Can you notice the PACF graph? In this graph, I get a meaning. So this one is your lag 1, L1. This is your lag 2. After your lag 2, do you notice the value suddenly become close to 0? It means I can stop at the second process. Now, अब ये वाली line को guys सब लोग please ध्यान से पढ़ो जिसको मैं green में underline कर रहा हूँ. If PCF declines sharply, but ACF decays slowly, then we conclude that it's a AR process. If PCF declines sharply, but ACF declines slowly, then we conclude that it's a AR process. So हमें ये तो पता चल गया it's a AR process. But whether it's AR2 or AR3, that you will see that after which lag the values have gone to 0. So over here, after your second lag, the values have almost become 0. So it becomes your AR2 process. इस डायग्राम को बना लो and ये दो sentences लिख लो please. Okay. Now, just opposite of this diagram is your another one. Achha, now, do you notice that this diagram is just opposite of the previous one? If ACF declines sharply, but PACF decays slowly, then we conclude that it's a MA process. It's a MA process. So basically, in this diagram, in this representation, you do not get any meaning from this diagram. इससे कोई meaning तुम्हें नहीं आता because values are decreasing gradually. धीरे-धीरे decrease हो रही. So you cannot decide a cutoff. You get the meaning from this diagram. And this is your 1. This is your 2. So it becomes your MA2 process. Yeah, MA2 process. If there is a sudden decline in both ACF and PACF, then it will become your AR-MA process. P and Q दोनों की values आ जाएंगी. If there is a sudden decline in ACF also and PACF also, then it will become your AR-MA process, जिसमें P भी non-zero होगा और Q भी non-zero होगा. So I'll just write it. If there is sudden decline in both ACF and PACF, then it becomes AR-MA process, as both T and Q would be non-zero. But one good thing in life is that ये सब तुमको यूज नहीं करना, पढ़ा दिया है, कोडिंग में कैसे करना है वो भी बताऊंगा, बट रियल लाइफ में ये सब यूज नहीं करना। एक इससे बढ़ के एक फंक्शन लेके आएंगे, वो सारी चीजें ऑटोमेटिकली हैंडल कर लेंगे, खत्म। बट अगर किसी इंटरव्यू में जा रहे हो and if someone is asking you to please remember all this theory, बड़े किस्मत वालों को ही टाइम सीरीज फोरकास्टिंग पे काम मिलता है, लेकिन जब मिलेगा तो सर बहुत दर्द होगा। ठीक है, आजकल मेरे को मिला हुआ है। सेल्स फोरकास्टिंग, okay, so this probably brings into the theoretical part. Okay, so guys, open your Jupyter notebook and let's get started with the coding part. So don't ask for break today. मैं class थोड़ा जल्दी छोड़ दूंगा, but as of now let's continue. So coding will take 1 hour, 1.5 hours. Once you do the coding on one data set, then probably we can continue coding on any bigger data set. So what we will do is we will take two data sets. One small data set. Normally, the way I take up any thing, we'll always start with the easy one. So I'll take one easy data set and we'll build our model end to end. So that would be for today. Then in next class, which is tomorrow, we will take a complicated data set. थोड़ा बड़ा data set, complicated data set लेंगे. But once you understand the coding on today's simple data set, understanding the coding on the little bigger data set would be very simple. Okay, so let's get started. Acha, one more thing in time series. So in time series, we are सबको paint window दिखता है? In time series, we are about to do the forecasting, right? Forecasting means we are trying to predict the future values. Okay. So when you are trying to predict the future values, whenever, so for example, when you are doing in your linear logistic, whatever, there also you are trying to do the prediction, correct? And whenever you are trying to do the prediction, you always try to find how good or bad your model is. जो predictions हो रहे हैं वो ढंग के हैं कि नहीं, ये तो पता लगाने की कोशिश होती है. You always try to find the how good or bad your model is. So in linear logistic decision tree, random forest, how did we use to, क्या टेक्निक यूज करते थे हम? Remember हम लोग सैम्पलिंग करते थे, याद आ रहा है? We used to do sampling 80, 20, 70, 30, and then we used to build the model on the trained data, and we used to evaluate the model on the test data. बराबर ये करते थे ना
Sir.
सबको रिकॉल हुआ, right? So we used to do the sampling. And what was the sampling? Can I say sampling was always the random sampling? Random sampling करी थी हमने. So can we do the same thing over here time series में? Time series को कैसे evaluate करेंगे? Prediction तो हम करने जा रहे हैं, forecasting. So I want to know how good or bad my forecasting would is or are. But evaluate कैसे करेंगे? Can we use the concept of train and test over there?
No, sir.
Okay, so answer is no. सब लोग प्लीज ये लाइन लिखो, रैंडम सैम्पलिंग इन टाइम सीरीज इज अ क्राइम. नॉट परमिटेड की बजाय मैंने क्राइम लिख दिया, गुनाह है. और क्यों है ये गुनाह, प्लीज बताओ. गुनाह है अजीम क्यों है?
Because we are, sir, playing with time periods na, sir, because we have to take more previous. So if we do random sampling, then time periods will be disoriented.
Yes, so absolutely right. So एक लड़की है जिसका दिमाग चल रहा है. See guys, जिसने अभी तक ये नहीं सोचा है, प्लीज सोचो. Suppose you want to do, let's say your data is something like this. You have the data for Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August, and you have September. Now, after September, only October can come. If you do the random sampling, if you do the random sampling, then it might be a scenario that you are starting with the March month, and then you have the Jan month, and October month is over here, and September month is over here. So basically what will happen, you will try to do the forecast of September month using the October month data. क्या ये possible है? It's not possible because sequencing matters. Sequencing matters. So you cannot do the random sampling. If you want to do the forecasting for 2022, you cannot use the data of 2023. Right? But if you do the random sampling, everything will get mixed. Right? Sunday के बाद ही Monday आएगा. Right? So random sampling is a crime in time series. अगर तुमने ये random sampling कर दी, तो मॉडल तो आंसर दे देगा, वो तो कैलकुलेशन करके दे देगा, बट तुम्हारा बैंड बच जाएगा बाद में. ठीक है? So random sampling is prohibited. It's a crime. Never do that because sequencing matters. But yes, you can do the sequential sampling. You can do the sequential sampling. Sequential sampling as in you can take top 80% in train and you can do the forecast on last 20%. ठीक है ना? In order. Sequential sampling you can still do, but random sampling you cannot do. इतना याद रखना. तुम्हारी टेंडेंसी बोलेगी कि मैं सैम्पलिंग कर देता हूं, लेकिन मत करना प्लीज. जैसे ही फोरकास्टिंग के बाद yes, someone is saying
last 20% in what?
No, see, don't get confused. Suppose, देखो ऐसा suppose करो. Let's say you have a data from Jan 2020 till August 2022. Okay, you have a monthly data and you want to do the forecast. You want to do the forecast for September 2022. Imagine September has just started. So how much data do you have? For 2020, you would be having 12 months. For 21, you would be having 12 months. For till August, how many months? 8 months, right? So 12 plus 12, 24, 24 plus 8, 32 months. 32 months का तुम्हारे पास data है? This 32 months data you have. You want to do the forecasting for September 2022. Now what you can do is, you can take the data from Jan 2020 till, let me say till your March 2022. You build the model on this trend data. And then you do the forecasting. You do the forecasting for April, May, June, July, August of 2022. You do the forecasting. Forecasting is nothing but your predicted values. But since April, May, June, July, and August month have already passed, so you would be having the actual numbers for these months also. इनका actual numbers भी तो होगा तुम्हारे पास, because today is September 1st, let's say. Today is September 1st, 2022. So you have built the model using your Jan 2022 till March 2022, and you are doing the forecasting for April, May, June, July, and August. You do the forecasting and you compare with your actual numbers. So if you have the predicted value and the actual values, you can evaluate your model. अगर मॉडल ठीक लग रहा है, then use the same model to do the forecast for September 2022. Are you getting my point? जिसने भी क्वेश्चन पूछा,
Yes, sir, I understood.
Understood? ठीक है. So sequential sampling possible है, but random sampling is not possible. Okay, चलो. Guys, open your Jupyter notebook and dedicate it to the time series. So एक नया Jupyter notebook open करना, and whatever code we do, try having it over there. वैसे पता है, मैं तुम लोग को ना NLP में I wanted to give you one office data set also, जो हम लोग का real data है, but विश्वास नहीं है मुझे तुम लोग पे कि तुम लोग उसका क्या करोगे, इसलिए नहीं दिया है. उस पे अगर काम करोगे ना तो दिमाग बिल्कुल खुल जाएगा तुम लोग का. बट लेट्स सी, आई एम थिंकिंग हाउ कैन द डेटा भी, डेटा तो मेरे लैपटॉप पे है, बट डेटा कुछ ऐसे पहुंचे तुम्हारे पास कि गैस ये एक फाइल देखो मैंने भेजी है, देखो इसमें क्या क्या डेटा है. ओपन करो देखो. Ignore this one. It has just one column. So एक column है, then probably it's not a correct data. Let me share another one. हाँ. See, दोनों के नाम ऑलमोस्ट सेम लग रहे हैं. एक में आखिरी में S है, passengers.csv. Read this file. Okay. Your data should look something like this. It should have month and passenger and ship. And guys, sab log please take the same name which I am taking. Okay. Take the same name which I am taking because code थोड़ा सा अलग है, थोड़ा सा लंबा है. Now, so basically, okay. Now, guys, so basically, what is this data set? It's a very standard data set. And once you work on this data set, then I'll pass number of data sets. So in this data set, if you notice, it is a monthly data. It is a monthly data. So the dates are, the time period is starting from 1949-01, which means Jan 1949. And it is going till your 1960. It is going till your 1960 and passengers. So this is your air passenger. So basically, how many passengers are traveling in any particular month? So passengers, the passengers are in thousand. So when you say 606, it is 606,000 or 508,000. Number of passengers traveling from a particular airport per month. So for how many years do I have a data? So can I say I have a data for 12 years? 12 12 is 144. 12 mahine into 12 years. So you have the monthly passengers data in thousand for last 12 years. Now your problem statement is to forecast the passengers inflow for next 12 months. That is for year 1961. 1961 में for every month you want to forecast the data. ये है हमारा aim. Or if you want, you can do the forecast for 12 months or whatever month. ठीक है? So I had said one thing, that random sampling is a crime. Please make a note of it. Another crime in time series is if you break the series. Break the series as in, if you have 1949, 01, 02, so you have a monthly data. Within monthly data, you cannot put the quarterly data or yearly data or daily data. Time interval सबका सेम रहेगा. यू कैनॉट ब्रेक द टाइम इंटरवल ऑल्सो. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता तुमने एक मेजरमेंट मंथ में किया है, दूसरा वीक में किया है, तीसरा 14 डेज में किया है, फोर्टनाइटली किया है, एंड नेक्स्ट वन इज इन योर क्वार्टर. इफ यू आर डूइंग मेजरमेंट इन मंथ, देन ऑल द मेजरमेंट्स शुड बी इन मंथ. इफ द मेजरमेंट्स आर इन डेज, देन ऑल ऑफ देम शुड बी इन डेज. You cannot break that chain. You cannot break that chain. You cannot break that sequence. Okay, so please make a note of it. Okay, now okay, see guys, before you run the line number 107, I hope people understand what is this PD dot to date time. Remember, हमने pandas में date time series करा हुआ है, right? करा है नहीं करा date time? करा है, right? So PD dot to date time. So we as a person know that this month is a time format, but software को नहीं पता, ठीक है ना? Software doesn't knows that I need to consider this month column as my time column. So what I am doing, I am saying PD.to date time. I am passing the air passenger is the name of your data frame, month is the name of your column, and I am saying consider it as your date time format. Consider it as your date time format. Okay, guys, now everyone, please have a look. So at line number 103, if you notice, how many columns do I have? Can I say I have two columns? I have month as one column and passenger as another column. And what is the index value? Index values are nothing but your 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Default index जो है हमारा. And that is why if you notice, if you see the shape was your two columns. Now what I have done is, I have converted my month as an index. Do you notice? Month index जैसा काम करता हुआ दिख रहा है? And if you notice one thing, now your shape has changed from previously there were two columns. Now there is only one column. Why? Because month तो अब index की तरह काम कर रहा है. It is no more a column. And how did I get this thing? I said air passenger. Air passenger is the name of your data frame. And then I'm saying set index. So basically, if you want to make a particular column as an index, then what you can do, you can set it as a index. Which column as an index? Month column. I am setting the month column as index and saving it back in the same data frame. And if you do the head, you will notice your data is still same, but thing is month up index की तरह काम कर रहा है. So basically there is only one column in your data, that is your passengers. Acha, remember patterns in time series, uptrend, then seasonality, or then we also had one assumption. What was the main assumption in time series? Stationarity. Okay. So let's get familiar with our data. Let's try to do some plot. I'll say import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. Okay, we already know. Then what I'll do, I'll say plt dot plot, and I'll say air passenger. I'm saying air passenger. Guys, what is air passenger? Air passenger is the name of your data frame, but your data frame has only one column. Data frame में सिर्फ एक ही column है. So when you plot your data frame, it is basically plotting your passengers. It is basically plotting your passenger. Or if you want, you can say air pass dot passenger. Now, from this data, tell me what all things do you see in this plot? क्या ये अप ट्रेंड में है, डाउन ट्रेंड में है, साइक्लिक है, क्या है,
Sir, it's an uptrend.
Okay, guys. So, what all things do we observe? We observe that it is an uptrend. किसी को कोई doubt है that it's not an uptrend? So values are continuously increasing. But do you notice one more thing? That values go up and then they come down. ये जब मैं cursor हिलाता हूँ तो दिखता है? Are you able to see the cursor?
Yes, sir.
So do you notice the values go up and then they come down? They go up and then they go down. So within a year, do you notice? Within a year, let me say, if I see something like this data. So now, do you notice? So let's manually see this data: 112, 118, 132, 129, and then probably they are reaching the peak around month of 0708, which is July and August, and then they start coming down. So this data seems to be of some European or the Western country. In European or the Western countries, guys, trust me, most of the people are traveling in month of July and August. बच्चों की छुट्टियां होती हैं. हमारे यहाँ जैसे मई and जून में समर वेकेशन होता है, वहाँ पे जुलाई and अगस्त में होता है. So most of them travel in month of July and August. So and probably in that period itself, maximum people would be going on vacation, and that is why you notice the values increase toward your July and August, or June and July and August, and then they start coming down. Then they start coming down. So year on year basis, it is an uptrend, but within 1 year time frame, it is your seasonal also. The values increase and then values decrease. Values increase bhi kar rahe hain and values decrease bhi kar rahe hain, right? So it is an uptrend, it is seasonal, and obviously it is not stationary. And if it is not stationary, then we make it stationary. Stationary कैसे create करते हैं? How to make a stationary? By doing your differencing, correct? And differencing कैसे करेंगे? For doing the differencing, what I can do is I can just say DIFF. अच्छा guys, देखो, so, everyone please observe 1 second. Let me say air passenger. So what is the original value in air passenger? 112, 118. So when I do the differencing, then I will say 118 minus 112. So पहली entry क्या होनी चाहिए? 6 हो जानी चाहिए. Can you notice 6 over here? Then it should be 132 minus 118. कितना होना चाहिए? Same 14 आ रहा है यहाँ पे. Then 129 minus 132. Can you notice the same value over here? So is the differencing being done the same way, the way we have discussed, right? So I have done the differencing. Okay. Now what I'll do is I can just plot it. I can say PLT dot plot and you say that differencing. So after your first level of differencing, कुछ changes आते हुए दिख रहे हैं? Let me ask this question. Is series stationary after first level of differencing?
No, sir.
First level of differencing क्या stationary हुई है? नहीं. But had it improved a little bit? थोड़ा better तो हुई है. लेकिन I cannot say it is stationary yet. So what I will do is I will do the second level of differencing. Second level of differencing कैसे करोगे? Again you say just DIFF. Is it stationary now? Yes, no, maybe. क्या ये stationary हो गई है?
No,
अभी
sir.
तक no. So what you can do, you can continue with your third level of differencing, fourth level of differencing, fifth level. सब लोग please try करो your level of differencing and let me know कहाँ पे stationary हो रही है. Second पे, third पे. कहाँ तक कर दिया? कहाँ तक कर लिया? 14 तक कर लिया? So कहाँ तक कर लिया डिफरेंस? 14 तक कर लिया? क्या स्टेशनरी हुआ? नहीं हुआ. ठीक है ना? So basically एक लाइन लिख लेते हैं. Even after multiple level of differencing, series does not becomes stationary. Okay? सीरीज स्टेशनरी नहीं हो रहा है. So at some level, you can assume it's stationary, but actually it is not becoming stationary even after multiple level. Okay. Power differencing C does not become stationary. So now what should we do? So we can do something else. So what I'll do is I'll say import numpy as np np.log and air passenger. Then let me say air passenger underscore log. Okay. So what I've done, guys, I have taken a log. Log सबको याद आता है. This is np.log means it is a base E का log. Now, and then what I've done, I have stored the value in one of the variables, plt.plot. Now let's plot our log series. Is it stationary now? क्या log series अब stationary हो गई है?
No.
Answer is no, it is still not stationary. The mean is changing. But do you notice one thing? Variance अब इसका stationary हो गया है. Variance is not changing with time. अगर मैं इसको कुछ ऐसे कर दूं, is it stationary now? If not 100%, keeping some margin of error, can I say it is stationary? The mean and the variance, if you travel on the x-axis, probably mean and the variance, leaving few spikes, they are still constant. Let's do one thing. I'll take a snippet of it. Everyone, please have a look over here. Okay, so what would be this? This is would be your kind of your mean. Okay, na? And over here you are having your time. Over here you are having your values. Now, do you notice leaving few spikes, the variance is same. Variance is same. The deviation or the distance below and above the mean is almost same. Okay, if not 100%, the value. So leaving few peaks, कुछ spikes को अगर छोड़ दो, then data has almost become your stationary. So how did we achieve our stationarity? How did we achieve our stationarity? I have taken the log. मैंने log ले लिया. And after taking the log, I am taking one level of difference. सब लोग please इतना करो, and then we'll discuss.
Sir, do we have any method or way to check the mean and variance at consistent point intervals?
Do we have any method to check what?
Mean or variance at consistency or consistent point intervals.
Consistent point interval. See, if you want to check, see, if you want to find the mean, then what you can do is you can take this thing and you say mean. Okay, if you want to find the variance, then you can find variance. Or let me say standard deviation, STD. So this is your standard deviation. And if you multiply it 2 times, you will get your, no, variance is nothing but your square of standard deviation. So this is your standard deviation. Okay. But if you want to find mean and variance of the entire data, this is how you can find. But if you want to find it only for a particular interval, suppose you want to find the mean of first 10 records, then you take 0:10. Okay, and then you find the mean of this thing. Okay, and then what if you want, you can say np.mean and find it for how many interval. Okay. Okay, I hope this answers your question.
Yes, sir.
You know? Similarly, if you want to find for 10 to 20, you can say 10:20 and then you can find it. Now guys, what has happened over here is my original series has got converted to my log series. Do you notice now the values in your air passenger log are very much different. The values are now 4.7, 4 point this and all those things, right? The original values were around how much? Original values were 112, 118. So this 112 and 118 have got converted to this thing. Okay. Why? Because I have taken a log and this log is of base E. Okay. Now do you notice one thing? When you are taking the log, all the values are within a very small range. 4.7 से start होके 6 पे खत्म हो जा रही है. Why? Because you are taking a log. ठीक है ना? So at the end, when I will do the forecast, so when we do forecasting would also be in log. Forecasting भी log में ही आएगा because series build होगी अब, because you would build the model on the log data. So forecasting would also be in log. So we need to take anti-log to get the data in same range or same scale. Get the data in same range or scale.
Sir, can you please repeat that code where we have found the mean for multiple rows? Or say
Mean for
10
multiple
rows?
कहाँ?
Sorry, columns.
किस चीज़ की बात कर रहे हैं?
अभी पहले हमने वो मीन काढ़ा था ना मल्टीपल एक के बाद एक नीचे, उसका कोड क्या था वो पूछ रहा हूँ.
Oh, you are asking this. तुम इसकी बात कर रहे हो?
हाँ, उसमें कुछ नंबर भी दिए थे ना सर. वी हैव गिवन सम वैल्यूज ऑफ कॉलम्स, सो वी फाइंड मल्टीपल काइंड ऑफ रो मीन्स.
मल्टीपल मीन नहीं भाई, तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन था इफ आई वांट टू फाइंड द मीन फॉर ओनली फर्स्ट फ्यू रिकॉर्ड और लास्ट फ्यू रिकॉर्ड और इन बिटवीन. सपोज करो तुम फर्स्ट 10 रिकॉर्ड का मीन निकालना चाहते हो, तो यू कैन गिव 0:10. ओके, and then if you want you can find its mean. So what you can do is you can say np dot, you can say what is this, you can say np dot mean और निकाल लो mean. Okay, if you want to find for the next 10 records you can say 10:20. Okay, this has nothing to do with time series. ये तो pandas की चीज है भाई. यही सेम चीज पूछ रहे हो तुम?
यस सर, यस सर.
ओके ठीक है.
Done, sir.
Done. अच्छा, now let's get rid of this. So is everyone clear कि हमें बाद में एक एंटी लॉग लेना ही पड़ेगा, ठीक है? Now let's move ahead. Okay, so for building the model, we need to know three things. कौन से three things हमें पता होना चाहिए? For building the model, we should know three things. नहीं, टाइम सीरीज तो तुम बहुत पीछे चले गए. यहाँ पे कौन सा मॉडल बिल्ड करने के लिए हमें मॉडल बिल्ड करने के लिए तीन चीजें चाहिए रहती है टाइम सीरीज में. Yes, so value of p, d, q. इन तीन के बिना हम कैसे पता लगाएंगे कि whether we want to build AR model, MA model, ARMA or ARIMA. So out of this P, D and Q, can I say the value of D becomes 1? We have done one level of differencing to make our data stationary. So D की value तो हमें आ गई. We know the value of D, but what about P and Q? Later on, you may use these values or you may don't use these values. But as of now, let's discuss. To get the value of P and Q, what should I do? क्या use करना चाहिए? आज ही पढ़ा. ACF and PACF to find value of P and Q. Let's use ACF and PACF. Bus. So what I'll do is I'll say from stats models dot graphics dot TSA plots import plot ACF plot TSA, and then I'll say plot ACF. So you can directly plot your ACF and PACF. These are the functions already made available to you. सबको प्लॉट आ रहा है? ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Now, so from the first plot, do you notice in first plot the values are decreasing slowly? धीरे धीरे decrease कर रही है. So probably auto correlation function doesn't give me any information. But in the below one partial auto correlation, do you notice there is a sudden decline after your second lag? जो मैंने अभी just सिखाया उसी से compare करो देखो. So can I say the auto correlation function is useless for me? But partial auto correlation gives some meaning. So what can be the value? So P value is 0 or Q value is 0? अपनी theory को check करके बताओ. I want to the value of P.
So can you scroll up for 1 second? Thank you.
P and Q are non-zero scalars.
Can you repeat what you just said? क्या बोला तुमने? Can you repeat?
P and Q are non-zero, sir.
P and Q both are non-zero. Or one of them is 0, one of them is non-zero.
P
One
is
second.
0. The value of P is 0.
Achha. I think there is some confusion going on.
Sorry, sir. The value of Q is 0 and it auto.
देखो. So this is your auto correlation. From this graph, you don't get any meaning because values are decreasing gradually. They are decreasing gradually, or you can say they are decreasing slowly. From this second one, partial auto correlation. This is your L1. This is your L2. So do you notice the values of L1 and L2 are close towards your 1 or 0.9? ये 0.9 हो जाएगा. And then it has suddenly become close to 0, close to 0. So 2 would be your cutoff. So from auto correlation, I do not get any meaning. From partial auto correlation, I get some meaning. Value becomes 2. So would it be AR process or MA process? किसकी value? ये 2 किसकी value होगी? This 2 would be value for P or Q?
AR.
This would be the value of P. Pakka? So this becomes your AR process. Correct? This becomes your AR2 process. And MA becomes 0. And the value of D, we have already found it to be 1. So when I will use my ARIMA would be 2, 1, 0. Barabar? I will use my ARIMA 2, 1, 0, where I is mapped to your 1, MA is 0, and AR is 2. Model build कर ले. For building ARIMA model, we just will invoke the ARIMA function. और कुछ नहीं करना.
Sir, can you explain it again, sir?
Which part? See.
This, how to see this from the screen.
See, did you got this plot?
Yes, sir.
So in auto correlation, check this graph. Check the part A. In part A, do you notice the values are decreasing very slowly? And if the
Yes,
values
sir.
are decreasing slowly, then we do not get any meaning out of that graph. In the part B, in this one, do you notice that after your L1, so this is your L1, this is your L2. After your L2, there is a sudden decline. At L2, what is the value? L2, the value is somewhere close to around 0.9, if you notice this thing. And then at L3, the values have just decayed out. They have just gone towards your 0. So
Yes.
we get meaning from this graph, from the graph B. And since in your graph B, it is your autocorrelation, PACF. Can you notice it is written partial autocorrelation? Partial autocorrelation is nothing but your PACF.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. ठीक है guys. Acha, see, I am expecting some people may get an error while building this ARIMA model. And the error is quite obvious because ये ARIMA function हटा दिया जा रहा है. Because इसका बाप आ चुका है SARIMA. So whatever you want to do with ARIMA is being done with SARIMA. So if you notice, it says that future warning. This model would be deprecated. Why? Because you have SARIMA. So if you get an error, वैसे मेरी जिंदगी तो अरीमा में गई, but तुम लोग जब तक आए हो तब तक अरीमा हटा दिया जा रहा है. So which is okay. The new versions of the software and functions keep coming. So if you get an error, probably no problem, because later on I will introduce the SARIMA also. Okay. But if you understand ARIMA, then understanding SARIMA is quite easy. But as of now, what I've done is, guys, I have imported the ARIMA, and then I'm saying air passenger, log passenger, order is equal to 2, 1, 0. So I hope people are able to guess one thing, that this 2, 1, 0 is mapped to your P, D, Q. ठीक है ना? P, D, Q. So value of P was 2, value of D was 1, and value of Q I have passed as 0. Now what I will do is I will say model dot fit. Model constants create kiya, and then I will say model dot fit. And store this thing in your sum. You store this thing in your result equal to model dot fit. I hope सबका चल जाता है. अगर नहीं चल रहा तो
Mine has got an error. So in mine, it says that Arima has been replaced by Saring Max in the error.
What I'm doing is I'm putting this line on the chat window. If you guys are still getting error, then don't do anything. Just sit silent and keep observing what we are doing. सब लोग please tell me anyone किस किस को इस line पर error आ रहा है? After making sure that you have not done any typo error, एक बार recheck करो जिसको भी error आ रहा है. Recheck it, and if still you are getting error, then probably nothing can be done because in your you are working on a little higher version. ठीक है? Take 2 minutes.
So I'm getting an error on line 143.
So still many people are not getting. नहीं आ रहा है, ठीक है, नहीं आ रहा है तो कोई बात, अगर आ रहा है तो अच्छी बात है, नहीं आ रहा है then you cannot do anything, just see what we are doing. Okay, result dot ops. ठीक है. Anyway, I think because if you have read this warning message, it has been deprecated, right? So maybe since my software, my version is quite old, so I'm still able to use that functionality. Okay. So result dot parameters. Acha, remember guys, when we build a linear regression, we were able to, suppose karo tumne linear regression build kiya hai. In linear regression, you are able to see your slope and coefficients. Were you able to see? Right, slope and coefficient, if you remember. So same thing, can you notice over here, I am able to see a constant and I am able to see AR L1 value and AR L2 value. See, let me open a paint window. Okay, what is the equation of AR model? Can I say equation of AR model is nothing but your y is equal to c plus phi 1 yt minus 1 plus phi 2 yt minus 2. Over here, I have used only AR2. So I should be getting the value of C, phi 1 and phi 2. Correct? I should be getting the value of C, phi 1 and phi 2. And do you notice you are getting the same constant? Phi 1, AR L1 is nothing but phi 1 and your phi 2. Suppose just for our example purpose, if I put 3 over here, then do you notice I am getting constant phi 1, phi 2 and phi 3 value. Now I hope it's clear to everyone. Suppose I put 1 over here also. Then I should get one more 5. Now do you notice it says you constant AR L1, AR L2, AR L3, and then do you notice it also gives you the MA value? Can you notice this MA coming? MA aata hua dikhta hai? Right? So now once you have your constant phi 1, phi 2, phi 3, you can easily do the prediction. You can do the prediction. So once you know your slope and coefficient, you can do the prediction. Let me go back to the original model. What I'll do is I'll make it as 2, 1, 0. यहां तक हुआ? जिसका हो पा रहा है प्लीज कर लो, जिसका नहीं हो पा रहा है keep on observing or keep on writing the code. Now, what is the name of my model? Name of my model is result. So I'll say result dot forecast. Forecast, and I'll say steps. So default is this. So I'll say steps equal to steps equal to 12, which means doing the forecast for next 12 time period. Forecasted values. If you want, you can see your forecasted values. Guys, ऐसा आ रहा है forecasted values. So in forecasted values, बहुत ज्यादा लगा रहा है. नहीं, तुमने कुछ गलत किया.
सर सेम वैल्यूज आ रही है.
Same, sir.
Step equal to 12. क्या प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है देखो. ठीक है. So actually, can you notice that it is showing you the 3 arrays, but I only need the first array. The last 2 arrays you can ignore it. So basically, the first array is your forecasted values. The second array is your standard error. How much error you are about to make. इसका तुम देख भी सकते हो. Suppose करो, if you see this thing documentation, in the documentation it will tell you forecast. So the first array itself is your forecast. The second array is your standard error, and the third array is your confidence interval, in which intervals the values are likely to. Okay. So basically, you only need the first array. तुम्हें सिर्फ first array से ही मतलब है. ठीक है. So if someone is getting this just first array, fair enough. So in the new versions, probably they have removed the second and the third one. They are not needed also. So if I say forecasted values, and if I say 0, do you notice it gives you the first array itself? First array आता है, right? Now What are these forecasted values? These forecasted values are in log. ये log में है. And remember, I said to get the values in the original scale, you need to take the anti-log. So how would I take the anti-log? Anti-log क्या होता है?
Sir, we take the exponential of log value.
Yes, perfectly right answer. So, see guys, what is log, what is anti-log? तुम लोग बचपन से पढ़ते आ रहे हो, but फिर से देखो शायद टीचर ने वैसे नहीं पढ़ाया. Suppose करो, you take a log of 100 with base 10. So, what would be the answer? Log of 100 with base 10 का आंसर क्या होगा? अरे 2 होगा. बराबर? 2 क्यों होगा? Because 100 would be written as 10 power 2. And this 10 power, and so this thing would be written as 2 log 10 base 10. And log of a to base a is always 1. ठीक है ना? So suppose करो, if you want to find the log of 100 base 10, you will get answer as 2. Now it means if you take anti-log of 2, you should get 100. यही तो मतलब हुआ ना. अगर 2 का तुम anti-log ले लो तो तुम्हें 100 आ जाना चाहिए. So from 2 how would you make 100? 2 से तुम 100 कैसे बनाओगे? अगर तुम 10 का स्क्वायर कर दो, which means तुम बेस का पावर ले लो. Over here I have taken, over here the base was E. So base was E. So I will take the exponential. I will say np dot exp. बस हमारा log आ जाएगा. So what I'll do is I'll say np dot exponential. And these are the values. Now can you see the values are in 3 digits? The range and scale same हो गया. np dot exponential. Forecasted values. देखें इसका राउंड लगेगा क्या? So take the round. I don't want values in decimal. So these are the values. Then now, so I have got the forecasted values. So these forecasted values are for which time period? These forecasted values are for 1961. 1960 नहीं 61. 1960 तक का जो डेटा हमारे पास था. So it is for your 1961. यहाँ पे ऊपर आके देखो please. So when you did your tail, the last record was your 1960-12, which means it was your December 1960. So for forecasted values are for Jan 1961 till December 1961. Jan to December. So I have done the forecast. But another question is the forecasted values good or bad? कैसे पता चले भाई? फोरकास्टेड वैल्यूज क्या सही हैं या गड़बड़ हैं, कैसे पता चलेगा? I do not have the values for 1961 because 1961 is a future date. Imagine today is 1960 December. So I do not have the values for 1961. So I can only do the comparison when 1 year passes. So if you are doing the forecast for September month, whether it is right or wrong, you will come to know only on 30th September, जब actual numbers आ जाएंगे. But as of now, I want to find out क्या ये मॉडल ठीक बता रहा है या नहीं, तो क्या कर सकते हैं? So one thing is I can compare with the last month कि values कुछ वैसी हैं कि नहीं है. So for example, if I say something like this, passenger tail. So the values were 417. So this is the data for the last year. So 1961 में जो होना चाहिए उसका कुछ पैटर्न दिखना चाहिए 1960 से, right? So 1960. So the values ended at 432. इसको यहाँ पे ले जाते हैं, नीचे ले जाते हैं. Values ended at 432. Then value should 432, 460, 462, 462. This. If you see this numbers, guys, एक problem, छोटा problem दिखता है. The values just keep on increasing. Values increase होते हुए दिख रहे हैं. But in real sense, the value should increase and decrease within the same year. They should maximize around July and August, and then they should start decreasing. If you see this last year data also, can you notice the values are peaking towards your month number 07 and 08, and then they start to decrease. But the same pattern probably you cannot observe over here. ऐसी कोई चीज तुमको यहाँ पे दिखती नहीं है. The values are just increasing. They are not increasing and decreasing within the 12-month period. Or if you want, you can do the forecast for next 24 months. Let me say the forecast for next 24 months. So do you notice now? The values just keep on increasing. अगर forecasting अच्छी होती, then value should have increased and decreased within the same 12 months period. But the same thing is not happening over there. So just by studying the numbers, you can get some idea. And now let's plot the forecasted values and try to study them. Forecasting कर लें guys. एक data frame. Let's create one data frame. Let me say df is equal to pd dot data frame. Create one empty data frame, df, and then you say predicted. And over here, pass your forecasted values. And then you see your df. So these are your predicted values. So if you want, you can do the prediction for 12 months. Or if you want, you can do it for 24 months. Okay. So forecasted value. Everyone, please create one data frame. Let me do one thing. Let me just do it for 12 months only. Otherwise, I have to create a very big one. सब लोग please 12 months का ही prediction करो. Do it for 12 months. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Quickly create it, please. अपनी कोडिंग स्पीड बढ़ाओ. हाँ? क्या हो जाता है? ठीक है, अगर आ गया तो ठीक है, वहां से उठा. 0, 7, I think I missed 8. Okay, so date for prediction 1961 01 till your 12 01. So basically, you should have this type of data frame: predicted and month. Predicted and month. Create किया? Take 2 minutes and try creating it. Okay, set your month as index. अपने month को index में create कर लो. So your data should look something like this: predicted and month. Online folks, have they done till this point? Please confirm karo. Are you getting the data something like this? Month, predicted values, and month should be in form of your index. Those who are in class, guys, have they done? Doing? Okay, let me know once you're done.
Yes, sir.
Done? No. So what was the name of my data frame? Name of my data frame was air passenger, and it was passengers. What is the problem? PLT dot plot legend. तुम लोग भी प्लीज प्लॉट करो, देखो प्लॉट आता है या कुछ एरर आ रहा है. Raises multi conversion error, failed to convert unit to X. 4903. Let me just. So predicted is coming. If I comment this thing is also coming. Only thing is when I try to get them both, जब दोनों को एक साथ लाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ तो दिक्कत आ रही है. क्या प्रॉब्लम आ रही है भाई? I want to get them in the same frame. Guys, तुम लोग का प्लॉट आ रहा है या एरर आ रहा है?
Sir, same error, sir.
Same error आ रहा है. Okay. See, basically, I don't know why this error is coming. Original error message समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. Failed to convert values to X unit. Period 1949-01. 19. Okay. Acha, till line number 228, has everyone got the values? See, basically, what I wanted to showcase is if both the plots I can get in the same diagram. See, let's do one thing. Let's comment and build it. Now, so what is this plot? This plot, can I say it is on my original data? Ye original data pe hai. Now, the purpose of plotting this plot of plotting where I'm getting the error is, I wanted to showcase something like this. Agar nahi aa raha hai, then it is little difficult for me. But the purpose, what I wanted to showcase is, see, keep one thing in mind. Keep one thing in mind. Model is already built. Okay? Model is already built, and we have done our forecasting. We have also done our forecasting. Now, what is the aim of this plot? Aim of the plot is to judge the performance of the model. Judge the performance of the model, right? So from till this point, it is nothing but 1960. This is nothing but your 1960 December. If your predictions are proper, then it should follow the almost similar pattern. कुछ ऐसा plot आना चाहिए, right? Right? If it follows the same pattern in 1961. So basically, I wanted to showcase, or we wanted to check whether it is following the similar pattern or not. अगर मैं थोड़ा और अच्छे से create करूँ उसे. So if the prediction are proper in 1961, then they should be coming something like this. Correct? कुछ ऐसे आता हुआ दिखना चाहिए हमें. Right? But both of them are not coming in the same plot. ठीक है? Both of them are not coming in the same plot. That's what I'm trying. But let me do one thing. Let me plot it separately. So do you notice one thing? That 1961-01-02, the values do not rise and fall. They are just continuously rising. They are just continuously rising. They do not rise and fall. So it means I can say that predicted values are not following the same pattern. So it means there is some problem in my model. There is some problem in my model. वही same चीज मैं दिखाना चाह रहा था, but it is not coming in the same plot. I don't know why. 2 मिनट दो जरा मेरे को.
तो डेट फॉर्मेट का इशू होगा शायद.
डेट फॉर्मेट का ही है इशू, बट क्या इशू है वो समझ में नहीं आ रहा. They should come on the same window. I'm just trying to see it. प्रॉब्लम मेरे को समझ में आ रहा है क्या इशू हो सकता है. One second, guys. I think अब आ जाएगा. हाँ आ गया. ठीक है. So I was making one small mistake. Probably I have rectified it. See guys, वो mistake को सब लोग please print down करो. So the mistake which I was making was I was not putting this line. I was not putting this line. ये line सब लोग please note down करो. And put it at a logical point. Everyone please have a look over it. So first of all, you create an empty data frame. Then you create your predicted column, date for prediction. Okay. And then I'm saying PD dot to date time. Remember this we have done to our original data frame also. PD dot to date time, DF month, infer date time format equal to true. Infer date time format equal to true. So this was the problem. So I have not converted month to my date time format. And then you set your index month. Then you set your index month. Okay. And rest everything I'll remove. So this was just for explanation purpose. And now you can get both of the graphs. So the red one is predicted graph. So from this diagram, anyone can easily say that your predicted values are not proper. They should follow the green curve, but they are not following the green curve. So what is the change I have made? The change which I have made is this one. I have added this line. ये line add करिए. इसकी वजह से problem आ रहा था. PD dot to date time. Okay. So you have your original and predicted. You have your original and predicted. Now, online people, are they getting the graph?
Yes, sir.
आ रहा है? अच्छा, now let's discuss. My graph should have been something like this. My graph should have been. So ideally, I should have got this type of graph, correct? Agar 1961 के values would have followed the same pattern as your from your 1949 to 1960. Ideally, I should have got this type of graph. But in real time, or actually you are getting this graph. So can you notice this part? ये वाला part दिख रहा है? So it is not able to capture the pattern that value should rise and fall within the same year. So एक single straight line दे रहा है. So from this graph or from this plot, I can say that model is good or not that good. Model is not that good. मॉडल उतना अच्छा काम नहीं कर रहा है. अब आगे हम लोग कुछ और करके देखेंगे. So I have built the model, I have done the forecasting, but model doesn't seem to be that good. Later on, we will do the sequential sampling and compare our actual and predicted value. Okay. Acha, now guys, one more thing. See, let's come back to this code. So, सब लोग stop whatever you guys are doing. Stop. जो भी काम करो, रोक दो उसे और यहाँ पे एक सेकंड देखो. So, how did I find the value of P, D, and Q? People are aware. How did we find? So, for finding the value of D, we have used our differencing I. For finding the value of P and Q, we have used our ACF and PACF. So, यहाँ पे एक line लिख लो. Whatever values you get, especially of P and Q, not for D, but for P and Q, they are just a indication. User can change it. User can change it. अगर मुझे वो उससे अच्छा आंसर नहीं आ रहा, I can obviously change it. Okay. So basically, P and Q are kind of the hyperparameters. If you want, you can change them. If you want, you can change them. So let's try changing them. So I have taken the value of Q as 0. Let me take the value of Q as 1. Let's see what happens. क्या मेरा मॉडल कुछ अच्छा होता है या नहीं होता है? Does it changes from a small straight line, it goes up and then something. Then let's do some more trial and error. Let's do some more trial and error. If your code is in proper order, trial and error will not take much time. बस run करो. अब बताओ, is it little better compared to the previous one? So values are increasing. But again, do you notice, normally your red curve should have bypassed the green peak, right? Because year on year basis, the values are increasing. So I am trying to do some kind of trial and error. Check this part. Check this part. So this red one is for 1961. This is for 1961, right? But actually this point, let me call this point A and let me call this point B. So point A should have been larger than point B because year on year basis, the values are increasing, right? So it is capturing the trend, but not capturing the magnitude. Trend to capture kar raha hai. It is increasing within the year and then coming down, but then amount of magnitude is less. So again, I am not very much happy with the model. Trend capture kar raha hai, but magnitude capture nahi kar raha hai, right? Let's do some more kind of trial and error. So if you want, you can change the value to, let me say, instead of 2, I change it to 3. Let's see, does it model improves a little bit or not or whatever. कोई खास फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Okay. No big difference. No big difference. It's almost similar. Okay, ठीक है. Now, see guys, problem associated with ARIMA. So today I am not moving any further. We will stop over here. It's just 2 minutes more of theory. Problem associated with ARIMA. Do you notice using the several, even after several combinations of P and Q, my model is still not a good model. You cannot, just from the diagram itself, I can say it is not a good model. और ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? Because there is one problem associated with ARIMA. Problem associated with ARIMA is that it cannot handle seasonality. Seasonality handle करने के लिए बना ही नहीं है. And do you notice your data is seasonal data? Within the year, values increase and decrease. ARIMA cannot handle seasonality. So if your data has a seasonal effect, ARIMA is anyway going to fail. Fail करने ही वाला है वो. So this is the problem associated with your ARIMA, that it cannot handle seasonality, and that is why we have our SARIMA. The word S in SARIMA, the S stands for your seasonality. ये डिजाइन ही हुआ है seasonality handle करने के लिए. So if your data is seasonal, if you identify it, probably you can just ignore ARIMA and directly move towards your SARIMA. Even if you don't have seasonality, you can still directly move towards your Sarima, because in Sarima, if you put S as 0, Sarima will become Arima. Okay. And उसके बाद Sarima का भी father आ गए थे. That is your Sarima X. Sarima X. So Sarima X can handle trend also, seasonality also, and external factor also. So in a way, if you directly learn Sarima X, your job is done. But तुम लोग को शायद problem आता directly Sarima X सीखने में. So that is why I have taken a very long approach. I am teaching you Arima, then I'll teach you Sarima, and then probably we'll move towards anything else. Okay. So today we are stopping at this point. Let me build the background for tomorrow. So tomorrow what we will do? First of all, tomorrow we will do our sequential sampling. We'll do a sequential sampling, and then we will build our model on trained data and do the testing on test data. Sequential sampling. Remember, I have taken one example today while theory. And so that I can compare forecasted and actual values. Forecasted, I can compare forecasted and actual values so that I can find, as of now, guys, today, how did we evaluate our model? I have done the evaluation using our diagram. While doing the evaluation, I did not use any numbers. But once I have the actual and forecasted values, I can use my MSC, MAPE, I can use MAE, all those parameters. So tomorrow we will see how to use all these parameters after doing our sequential sampling. And then I will introduce Sarima also. इतनी चीजें हम लोग करेंगे. And then we will take another complicated data set. ये approach रखने वाले लोग. And by the time we take another complicated data set and build our model, we are done. तुम लोग को अच्छे से आ चुका होगा how to do your theory. Okay. But as of now today, let's end it over here. And only expectation is घर जाने के बाद एक बार code को देख लेना. If you are able to understand the code, then it's well and good. Tomorrow we will invoke our Sarima. Any doubt, any question, guys?
So what about the error for Arima? Will I get the same thing tomorrow?
Error, you are getting error in Arima?
Yeah, so I've just been coding, but I've just been getting errors continuously.
Okay, so in Sarima you will not get an error. Okay. So
Okay.
see, you are getting error. Why? Because the Arima function has been removed. So for example, you cannot use Windows 5 today. You have to use Windows 10 or 11. So that's the same thing. It is coming. So don't worry about it. When we use Sarima, you will not get an error. And anyway, in real life, you can directly use Sarima. You don't even need to use Arima. So don't be bothered about the error which you are getting. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, guys. Okay, guys. So with this, I'll end the session. Thank you for joining. And tomorrow we meet at 8:30.
Okay, sir.